There are classic films, and then there's You're Gonna Keep Loving This No Matter How Much Incest There Is classic.
Back to the Future.
So Marty McFly is just a regular Ferris Bueller type. Of course, this came out before Ferris Bueller, but that's not important. And he's good friends with Doc Brown. Don't ask how or why, that's a rabbit hole. And Doc Brown's just this kooky, crazy scientist who ripped some plutonium off of Libyans and built a time machine in the back of a DeLorean. No questions. While running away from the Libyans, Marty accidentally uses the time machine to travel from 1985 to 1955, where he becomes stuck, and there he meets his father, who is like 5 more bad days away from becoming a school shooter, except that wasn't really as much of a thing in the 50s. He is also like a pervert. He's like climbing trees and looking into women's windows. If the internet existed in 1955, he'd be a Reddit nice guy. But the entire plot of the film is let's get him some fuck. Then Marty saves this absolute cretin from getting hit by a car, which was actually how his dad met his mom, and since Marty gets hit by the car instead, he ends up in his younger mother's bedroom, and she is just incredibly horny for him. It's... So yeah, it turns out his father is shit, and his mother would have fallen in love with any old basket of bricks with a heartbeat that came into her house. This woman is horn-dogging like Nala in that scene in The Lion King with the fuck eyes. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. So basically, Marty's getting pursued by his mother while trying to get his father to ask his mother out, and yeah, it just makes for the kind of love triangle you don't get to see outside of House of the Dragon. So Marty finds the younger version of Doc Brown and enlists his help while realizing that the images of his siblings and he are starting to vanish from a photo he's got. That makes sense, yeah. So all he has to do is invent skateboarding, time travel, women asking men out, see something, say something, and rock music before attempting to perfectly time a lightning strike so he can get home. Fucking metal. This film is a classic, and I always talk about it as the prime example of how to encapsulate a time period, because not only did this perfectly show what life was kind of like in the 50s in so many great ways, it also managed to do the same thing for the 80s, even though it was set in the 80s, which is so hard to do, so impressive, and instantly makes you so reminiscent for that time that it's set in when you watch it. You don't get that for a lot of films that are set in period pieces, even when they're doing it now. If you made a film set in the 1980s now, you're barely going to be able to show what was so relevant then better than Back to the Future already did while in the 80s. Sure, the story is ludicrous, the morality questionable, his mother just an absolute hound dog. She actually does stalk him at one point. Actually stalks him. If you gender swapped this, it would be a nightmarish horror film about how it can be any guy, even your own dad. Wow, there is a horror film in there. Oh my god. Ugh. Marty McFly is just the ultimate teen movie protagonist. He's got questionable friends, he's lovable, he's got a beautiful girlfriend, he's smarky, and kind of... He would be the villain in any other teen movie. That's a sobering thought. There aren't a lot of films like Back to the Future that are so unabashedly, unashamedly themselves, no matter how dumb they are. They're just here for it. They're just here for the ride and for fun. And it feels low stakes. Not a lot of classics feel this low stakes the whole way through, but it is just a charming, lovable movie. There might be better films, there might be better stories out there. It's incredible. This is a classic of the sci-fi genre with one of the least imaginative uses of time travel I've ever seen in a film, but it's lovable, it's wonderful. You have to love it. Robert Zemeckis in his prime just makes anything just sweet and heartfelt and fun in such a beautiful way. So I'm giving The Creation of the Stepmom Fetish 4.5 stars. Coming this summer, It Can Be Any Guy, starring your dad. I'm serious. There's something. There's a horror movie in there. It's somebody do that. Come on. Sack to the Future. No, that's not it. There's something there.